Sangapadakramopanishadaihi Ayandiyam Samaga Dhyanavastitadgadena manasa Pasyantiyam yogina Shantam navidusra suravana Evaya tasmai. Please, verse number 5, please. Klesho dikataratstesham avyakta sakta cetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavat vapyate yetu sarvani karmani maishanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita cetasam teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat bhavami nachirat partha maya veshita cetasam. Very beautiful verses. We will see these ideas. Please see it for yourself. Two words you remember in this chapter: Nirguna Upasana, Saguna Upasana. Contemplating on the formless Absolute and reveling, contemplating on total form, Ishvara. What do you say in technical language? Brahman and Ishvara. We'll see it very clearly today, friends. All the times we have been seeing it, but how much of it you grasp it inside yourself. Very, very important. And you are the subject, so at no time you should feel that this subject is difficult. Understand, it is all about yourself, whether it is about God or truth. Name it as a Saguna Brahma, Ishvara, God, or name it formless as the Absolute, Truth. Both are wonderful. And that has to be seen very clearly in yourself. See, there are two types of people. You must find out for yourself where you belong. Please see that. When you are looking for confidence in life, you are looking for strength in life, there are two sources of strength. One is yourself, self-confidence, absolute self-confidence. Or you find a confidence in Ishvara, in God. long before you find the confidence in yourself, please see it, long before you find the confidence in self, you have to start relying on other people. That is how it begins, like a child, like a baby. Baby doesn't understand what is lack of confidence, what is self-confidence. But the baby is taken over by the parents. So the baby's confidence is transferred to the mother. The mother is around, baby is confident. Mother goes, baby cries. Please see. We'll see today, this morning as I was sitting down. Beautiful thought. I don't know how to, if you can brain transplantation, it will be so nice. It will be really so nice. Yesterday I was reading in a newspaper, day before yesterday, that slowly now they are finding out the way how you can transfer the ideas into people's head. Communication, now words communication, now they say there is a possibility of a communication through the brain. It will be super. It will be really nice. Of course, like anything can be misused, that also can be misused. But please see, it's very beautiful. See it for yourself step by step. Nobody ever is born with self-confidence, wisdom, absolute freedom. Nobody. We are born with ignorance, unaware of ourselves. Long before even we get introduced to this idea of lack of confidence or self-confidence, we are taken over by the mother and the father. The mummy is taking over. The father takes over. Then they help us to grow confident in life. They do everything for us. As a child, they do everything for us. They feed us, they bathe us, they clean us up, they do everything for us. They tie our shoes, they dress us up, everything. But growing means what? Teaching the child to do slowly everything by himself. Tie your own shoes, put on your own pant, shirt, tie your belt, go to your toilet habits, go there, do your own things. Are you getting that point, please? Slowly, you are making the child self-reliant. Then, when you are 4 or 5 year old, somebody takes you to the school. But after when you are 10 year old, your own cycle, your own vehicle, you start going to the school, confident. Mommy, help me in my homework. So mommy helps in the homework. Papa helps you homework, or elder brother, sister, or somebody helps you homework, or say tuition master comes and helps you homework. Now you get it. Now when you become a very good student, 10th standard, then you start helping others in the homework. Now you are confident, top mathematics student. History, oh, no problem. You come, I'll teach you. Listen carefully. So you are now developing this type of, now you are slowly developing confidence as far as it comes to your dressing, you are coming to eating, your toilet habits, you are going to places, knowing a subject, you are developing this. Listen carefully. And more you are educated, now you start relying on yourself, your education, your job, your money, your salary, your intelligence. Listen carefully. To such an educated person, in our generation, when we are trained like that, it will be very difficult to rely on a God imaginary. Understand? It becomes very difficult. Our generation is not fit for the faith in a God. Because from the day one, we are taught to rely on ourselves, which is good. But then that also creates problem because it is not the self, the absolute, but a relative self. So see the problem. Are you getting the problem? Do you understand it? You understand how beautiful it is? We cannot rely on ourself because it is not the self, nor can I rely on a God because I am now addicted to my money, my salary, my intelligence, my job, my property. Why do I need anybody? Get lost. That is why human relationship also breaks down. Are you getting that? In a generation, 50 years, 100 years back, the marriages were working. Why? Woman is helpless, man is helpless. So you take care of this, I take care of that. Okay, it needs 2 bullocks to carry the cart. Now, this is 1 bullock cart. I can handle, I can take care of myself, I don't need anybody. True? Are you getting that point, please? There was a generation when there was not much learning, not much of knowledge, not much intelligence. Let us take it. You are afraid of the natural forces. If there is a cyclone, oh God, unknown. If there is earthquake, another God. If there is a flood, another God. If there is a disease, another God, oh God. So the people who are in the business of God, they are frightening the hell out of others by telling God shall send the pestilence, God is going to send the, what is that, cyclone, God is going to send this, God is going to send that. And people are also mortally mortified, frightened, because this punishment is going to come, plague is coming, the leprosy is coming, disease is coming, epidemics coming, oh God. Today, what epidemic? If the person says, you have no faith in anything anymore, because you are so self-reliant, because there is no God for a storm. A storm is a natural phenomenon. So you put up a satellite there and sit down in your home and guide, observe where the satellite is passing. Just get out of the way, the satellite goes, you are out, you are finished. Previously, you have to worship God before you go somewhere, because, oh God, see to it that there is no, big accident or anything. Now you have got suppose you are flying, now you have got a radar inside the plane itself. Shows you which is the wrong route, which is the right route. In which route more cloud, which route less crowd. So avoid everything and go. Just think, please think. Not everybody is like that. Out of 5 billion people, there are 3 billion people who are not educated maybe. Are not exposed to any type of education, let us say. Even half of the mankind, let us say. If we say half of the mankind, then other half will not feel offended, Like in Indian parliament, there was a very brilliant parliamentarian, and he was so fed up with these corrupt practices of the parliamentarians, one day he said, half of these honorable members are absolutely corrupt. And it was an unparliamentary word. They are all thieves and they are corrupt. So everybody got angry. How can the honorable member talk like that? He said, okay, I withdraw. Half of the members are not corrupt. So let us say half of the people are not educated. And the educated fellow will be, how can you say I am not educated? Okay, half of the people are not educated. How can you say that? Okay, half are not uneducated. It's both ways fine. Please think of it. So people who are not educated, still in them, there is no self-reliance. Why? The person who is not educated, he still relies on somebody or something. Listen carefully. The whole psychological development. Education means making you reliant. And we think it is making us self-reliant. But that is a wrong sentence we use. Education will not make you self-reliant. Education will make you reliant on education. Are you getting that point? Education will not make you self-reliant. Education will make you reliant on the education or the ideas that you are picking up. So, anybody who can dismiss your ideas, anybody who can prove your ideas are wrong, shall be your nemesis, your curse, because you shall be affected. If you say, if I get educated, if I get money, money is my security, you shall be afraid. Why? Money will go away. So that's not self-reliance. People say, I'm self-reliant and I have my bank balance. So how can you say self-reliant if you are dependent on your bank balance? Because somebody, cyber crime, takes away the whole thing. You are out. Understand? Same thing. The person says, I'm self-reliant, I have my job. How can you be self-reliant depending on a job? Are you getting that point, please? This is the language that the modern man uses, which is absolutely wrong. I am self-reliant and I have my job. Then by depending on a job, you can't be self-reliant. Why? Because job is in somebody's control. That person says, your services are no more required. You are fired. Are you getting that point, please? Think of it, think of it. Then the person says, I'm self-reliant and my husband is there to look after me or my wife is there to look after me. What type of self-reliant it is if you are depending on a human relationship, another relationship? So family breaks down. Why? Because the other person is not capable, or the job is gone. The money. Why are you married to the other person? Because he or she has a job, because he or she has money, because he or she is business-wise successful. Now something somewhere happens, your relationship goes for a shiksha. Understand? So education, when it is trying to give us self-reliance, in reality, in the name of the self, it makes us reliant, makes us to depend on something which is a lesser self, not the absolute. So your relationships are, who are you? I'm educated, I'm young, I'm rich, I am employed, I am involved, I am related, I am the president. On a relative role, you want to look for absolute confidence. Are you getting that point, please? That is why you fail in life. So that is not self-confidence. Are you getting that point, please? That person is not self-confident. At the same time, such a person cannot depend on God either, because he has moved away from God. Are you getting that? That person, educated, being educated, now the language of self-reliance is taught to us. Educate yourself, get your money, have your bank balance, relate to right type of people. So, how are you going to such a person, how is he going to depend on a God? That is why churches are empty, temples are empty, mosques are empty, religious places will be empty. It will have to be empty, because you are teaching the children to be self-reliant. Are you getting that? When you are teaching the child to be self-reliant, why should he depend on God? And what is that God? There is no unanimity about that God also. So there is a Christian God, there is a Hindu God, there is a Muslim God, there is a Buddhist God, there is a, what is that? Any Sikh God, Jain God, whatever you say, or there is no God. So between the religious people, among those religious people, there is no unanimity about a God. So naturally, whoever looks at the circus, he says, thank you, I'm gone. Any intelligent person will run away from that. But this is a circus. This is God, has God, that man, this man, God. What is this? God also would have this. God also have this type of faith. God also have this type of confusion. So who is interested in that God? So the God gets badnaam. I mean, the God is scandalized by the God-fearing people. So the whole concept of God is totally destroyed by the people who are believing in God. He is my God. No more. You cannot rely on it. Like a Jewish man who was destroyed by the program in, that persecution in Poland. Then he was pushed into a concentration camp in Germany, and he was pushed into so many other difficulties in life. One day he was praying God. He's already 70, 80, 90-year-old, and he prayed God. And he's telling, "Oh God, are we your chosen people?" The story goes, God said, "Yes, you are my chosen people." Then this 90-year-old man says, "Don't you think it is time for you to choose somebody else?" Because we have gone through hell. We are the chosen people. How long can you rely on this type of God? Some people have brainwashed me to believe that I am the chosen person, and the chosen to suffer or chosen to enjoy. See, educated person, understand, the educated person cannot believe in a God which makes me get into all these type of problems. And friends, think, who the person who doesn't have a problem in life? Everybody has got plenty of it. Somebody is in a concentration camp having a trouble. For some people, home itself is a concentration camp. Husband is a despot, wife is a crook, children are rogues, friends are rascals. The family itself is a huge concentration camp. You can't go anywhere. You can't go anywhere. Persecution, persecution, persecution. If you do it is wrong, if you don't do it is wrong. You give something wrong, you don't give something wrong. You smile it is wrong, you don't smile it is wrong. How comfortable? Huh? Think of it. Educated person, listen carefully. Once you are educated, once you are educated, to be educated means to be self-reliant. But that definition of self must change. When you are educated in our generation, most people will be self-reliant. And when they want to be self-reliant, they must discover what is that self they must rely upon. Understand? Same thing also, the person who is not educated, listen carefully, the person who is not educated, he is afraid. Think. The person who is not educated is afraid. And he is asked to rely on a God. And it will be easier for a person who is uneducated to rely on a God. Because he has no self-worth. I'm so useless. I can't study, I can't read, I can't have a job, I can't have a decent job, I can't have anything. Who is my protector? Somebody. Who is that? Don't worry. May name is God, a dog, X, Y, Z. Many such beliefs rule the world. If it's a tribal, thunder is the God. Lightning is a God. Any natural phenomenon, that also is a God. Big stone also is a God. Big tree, that also is a God. Even an eagle is a God. Because very simple people. Okay, if you're in a little society where you have a little more organized, what does the average uneducated person say? His employer is his God. Aap to mere maa baap hai, aap to mere Bhagavan hai, you are my God. Who? Employee is talking to the employer. The ordinary people working in a garden or working somewhere, what do they tell to the owner? Diwali, you dish out some favors, some money, some clothes, some sweets, some everything. And the man is overwhelmed. 1,000 rupees, 2 pairs of clothes, and so much of sweet, for not only for me, but also for my husband or wife or children also. Oh, you are my God. And the person who is giving feels also comfortable. Why? He has become a little deity for one day. Understand? You can say, no, that person doesn't feel like that. Okay, suppose somebody receives it and says, only this much you have given. The other house they gave 5,000 rupees and 5 clothes. How will you feel? God or dog? Will you feel God-like or dog-like? Are you getting that point? Any moment anybody can puncture you. Think. You are a person appointing 100,000 people, 1,000 people, huge incorporation, big, rich man, millionaire. You are God to all the people who are employed for you. God. And that man who thus receives all the respect from everybody, like you are the other day, one managing director was here. He's a big company, big manager, big boss. So he was here. Then I was telling him, it is people like you who have the biggest necessity, either to be self-reliant or to be understanding what the God is. Why? Both way you are in trouble. Because if you think your multi-million-dollar company is giving you security, you are not self-reliant, you are reliant on your big business. You shall be mortally afraid of your stock going down, your share market collapsing, competition in the market, poaching from your executives. All the time you will be afraid. World market, world change, anything economic, financial changes take place, you will be destroyed. Not only that, so you better rely on yourself or go on to a God. Why? Because every day you are treated as the God. When you come into the office, from the moment you get down from your house to your car, the driver says, "Good morning, sir." So you think you are the boss. The car goes through the gate, 3-4 guards, salute, salute, salute. Sir, good morning, sir. Namaskar, namaskar. Then you come in, as you get down, 2-3 fellows opening the gate. Good morning, sir. As you are walking down the corridor, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Everybody is wishing you, and you don't wish anybody. Then comes your ordinary workers, then comes your ordinary managers, then the vice president, president, because you are the chief executive managing director. You don't bow down to anybody. Everybody is bowing down to you, you, you. So at the end of the day, what do you think? I'm the boss. And to such a person, anybody disrespects, what shall he do? Crush him. Understand how the person can get completely turned on inside, wrong way. And the boss, I'm the God. It's like a God. Such a person has the greater necessity to believe in a God, somebody bigger than me, because of whom I am here. So prostrate. Go fall at somebody's feet. Whether it is a guru or a God, doesn't matter. That's why the person feels comfortable somewhere to go and fall. Why? Can't carry his ego. So suffocating. It's so nice to be respected, but sometimes it's so nice to be ordinary. And you can't be ordinary because you are the managing director. Understand the conflict. You enjoy the power, but can you live without it? Understand? This is the crisis of the educated person. He cannot rely on a God. So now, see the conflict. A person who is educated In the name of self-reliance, please see that point. In the name of self-reliance, he is not depending on the self, the true self, but is depending upon the relative identity of the self. Education, money, job, position, things, relationship. And therefore, collapsing. Okay, such a person cannot rely on a God also. Why? Because so far depending on himself, he can't depend on a God. He doesn't believe in it anymore. That is why godless philosophies are accepted around the world easily. In the modern society, godless philosophies, that is why that religion which will be godless but talks some sense, people will accept it. But such a religion will be useless. Listen carefully, that religion may say God is not there. Straight for the example you can take it. We can name it, now it feels, but I don't want to offending or anything somebody. See that example, like Buddhism. Buddhism doesn't accept God. Buddha, because he did not talk about God, knows whether somebody interprets, misinterprets, doesn't matter. He never, when somebody, the story is, when somebody asked him about God, he kept quiet. Therefore, they thought there is no God. Anyway, whatever the story. But the average person in Buddhism will accept Buddha as the God. He can't escape. But those people who are intelligent, they shall say, Buddha said there is no God, so they take into Buddha's philosophy. But the average man in Buddhist tradition will worship Buddha. Cannot escape. Are you getting that point, please? You cannot escape. Because ordinary person needs somebody. He is not self-reliant. That is why in this Upanishadic tradition, of which Buddhism is an offshoot, because Buddha started with this, it has both the standpoints. Ishvara is there, formless absolute also, the Nirguna Brahma, Saguna Brahma. If you are a person already started developing a little individuality, now go to the root of the individuality. Do not stop at the individuality level. Are you getting that? You started with no individuality as a child, but you have developed the individuality as an educated person. When you develop the individuality as an educated person, take it to the logical end from the finitude, from the finite existence. As a child, now you are conscious that you are finite. That individuality means makes you conscious. I am limited, I am mortal. Now this individuality, I, who is getting wedded to mortality, wedded to limitation, must know about itself. The I must reach its logical end, the source of the I, infinity, absolute. Then no problem. Or that I should depend upon Ishvara, the totality. Now this is where comes the conflict for most of the people. Shall I depend on myself or shall I depend on God? But since many people do not know about the self, because the self as a concept doesn't exist around the world. Understand? That there is a Brahman, there is a truth, there is a consciousness, absolute. That is not popular. Suppose there is a particular religion which tells God is not a particular form, but then that formless God, whatever you say formless, name it that formless God or divinity, is away from the formed universe. So that is another thing. That also doesn't solve the problem. So because the individuality will not like to accept something which is somewhere existing, and you have to continuously rely upon him, and he is far away from this creation. There is, you don't, only after death also you have to recognize it. Before death you can't handle it. Understand, the intelligent thinker cannot accept it. Do you understand your conflict? The intelligent thinker cannot accept it. What is this? After death I have to wait. But can you understand, waiting for after death, can you enjoy your life? Even if somebody says absolute surety, after death you will have a good time. Can you go through the suffering for the 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, waiting for the fancy time? Get out of it. I want to have now. Because how do I know whether there is something or not there? Are you getting that? Please see that for yourself. Educated people. This talk we cannot give in a village. Cannot give it to people who have no thinking capacity. Understand? Educated person does not mean a thinker also. Every educated person is not a thinker. For most people, education means getting a job. Just like yesterday, our Indian Space Research Organization top boss, he has said, India is not producing world-class scientists. What we are producing is functional, ordinary engineers and things like that, so they can be not on bolt, work on anything. But discovering, thinking doesn't exist. Religion, exactly like that. Religious study means for most of the people, throw some flower, do something, sing something, hold your nose, stand on your tail, or something like that. And that's religion. Religious practices. So there are certain religious practices. So those people who are following the practices, they are very religious. Inside, full nuts. Average person, that is the difference of average person's religiousness. What is that you're doing it? Oh, I celebrate Diwali, I celebrate Christmas, I celebrate Moram, I celebrate this, I celebrate that. Then fanatic about it, this is mine, this is mine, this is yours. So you consider yourself religious. Do you think? The religious teachers themselves do not think. Why? If you are based on a faith, and a faith should not be questioned, how can you teach thinking? If the faith itself prevents you from thinking, how can be a thinker be faithful? It just doesn't work. It's a contradiction in terms. The faith does not encourage thinking. The faith doesn't encourage questioning. Therefore, how can be a faithful be a thinker? Or in other words, how can a thinker be faithful? Because the thinker will like to think. He will not just try to believe. So there shall be no place for a thinker in that faith. Are you getting that point, please? In today's world, we discover it. But don't worry about the whole world. Each one must look into himself. You look at yourself. Which one is comfortable for you? Saguna, Nirguna. Are you comfortable in questioning yourself? Or are you comfortable in surrendering to the totality, God? Ask yourself the question. Don't generalize and escape. Today world is like this, don't worry about the world. First fix up yourself. Do you. Are you getting that point? Do you in yourself. Which one you are comfortable? Or suppose you can say, Swamiji, why either or? I am comfortable with both. Sometimes I'm happy with myself. I want to know about myself. But this God, fantastic. That is what it is. In fact, that is the best. When you know about yourself, your devotion to God is natural. If you are devoted, you may not know yourself. But if you know yourself, your devotion to God is natural. Because when you are devoted to God without knowing what the God is, that time it only brings in fear, anxiety. Like an intelligent person one day, you are atheist, he is a non-believer. The fellow atheist, he is a non-believer, he was going on a trekking. On a mountain trekking, and he was going, suddenly he falls into a chasm. You know chasm means like a, what's it, like a gap between the mountains. You know, something, there is a hole. The fellow suddenly, plumps. When he falls in, oh my God, and as he falls in, lucky there are one or two trees, he grabs one of them, falls on one of the trees, and he grabs it and shouts at the top. He never believes in God. He says, oh God. He started believing. Then he started, I said, I am not supposed to call on God. But then, in these conditions, then he started looking down. Oh my God, 1,000 feet. He said, this is the time you have to pray God. Then he said, oh God, started shouting loudly, oh God, I have never believed in you. But if I can escape from this, I shall believe in you. Listen. Then one voice boomed around the mountain and said, that is what everybody says when they are in danger. So one voice boomed across the mountain, that's what everybody says when they are in danger. He says, no God, don't think like that. I am really sin. Don't you see, what type of trouble I am in? If you don't put, I can't go up, nor can I fall. I don't want to fall, nor can I go up. You think I have any other way? I believe in you, now protect me. He said, all right, leave your hand. Listen, God says, it's all right, okay, leave your hand. He said, what, do you think I'm crazy? Leave my hand and die? Intelligence. When God says, leave your hand, leave your hand. But an intelligent person cannot have that faith. Immediately he says, oh, what do you mean? So to leave my hand and to fall and die? Hey, you said you have faith. Leave it. No. This is what the faith of the intelligent person, educated person. Give it. I give it, but little control also I should have it. No. Oh, I see. Then keep it. How many people do that? No educated person can be faithful. Faithful in what? Only in God? Even personal relationship will not be faithful. Because if your interest is not taken care, you will kick the boy, kick the girl, kick the job. Why today everything is centerless, as they eat said nicely? Things fall apart and center cannot hold. This is the modern generation. Things fall apart and center cannot hold. Why? Because no faith. If something doesn't fulfill my interest, I drop it. If the job is not to my liking, I get out of the job. Our grandfather's generation, even father's generation, if they join a company, they retire from that company after 40 years. How many people are doing it today? In 40 years, you have seen 40 companies. Just think of it. You are born in a house, you are dead in that house. Now what has happened? Today in America, day after tomorrow in Australia, tomorrow Austria, tomorrow in India, then tomorrow in Kathmandu. Then die inside one hole, in a cave. Just think. No one. In our country, in those days, what happened? You marry one man, you marry one woman. Finish. One man, one woman. Dead. Until the death do we part, that was right. Until tomorrow we part. Today's generation, what happens? My 7th is 10th is, 11th is my 14th. Sometimes so much are confused, like I told you that celebrated unhappy incident where the mother got married to the son. Think. Why? What is happening? No faith. Not only in God, not anywhere. No, everywhere things falling apart. Why? Individual is insecure. Don't say insecure. Now searching for freedom. Don't say insecure and put him down. No. Everybody looking for self-reliance. I want to be self-reliant. I want to be free. Why should I depend on somebody? My own job, my own money, my own health, my own wealth, my own everything. Why should I depend on somebody? Yes, beautiful search for freedom, but discover a self. That is your Nirguna Brahma Upasana. Discover a self which is absolute freedom. By relying on a relative thing, you cannot be absolutely free. So the modern generation, understand, as we are educating ourselves, along with this Aparavidya, objective knowledge, we must be given Paravidya, supreme self-knowledge about yourself. Today's generation needs this self-knowledge much more than anything at any time. Understand yourself. Then happily rely upon the relative things. I'm happy with myself. Why not a job? A job is needed for the financial security. I'm happy with myself, but why not live with a man or woman? Because that's some type of a comfort. I'm happy with myself, but having some type of a house, why? Some type of a relation, some type of a security from the climate. I'm happy with myself, some car. Anything. Or I'm happy with myself, why take the load of this relationship, this car, house, and I don't want anything. I'm happy with myself. Wherever I am happy with myself. Wonderful. Choice is yours. Today we are getting into a tradition, getting into a time when more and more people should discover this. And more you discover this, it will be so good. Please understand, friends. The moment you are happy with yourself, you will have a hassle-free relationship with everybody. Is it not true? Think. Food, other day I was telling you, basic minimum necessity for the body. 3 things for the body, What were the 3 things? Food, drinks, food, water, as well as the sleep. These are the 3. Have you thought over it? These are the 3 most essential things, without which body is dead. If you don't eat, you are dead. If you don't drink, you are dead. If you don't sleep, you are dead. If you don't breathe also, but breathing is not my job. Breathing automatically taking. Suppose breathing your job, like eating is your job. Suppose breathing is your job, you know what a headache it will be. Breathing is not a job. It's going on. It's just going on. 3 things. Food, these things. And what is that other? It has been given into our head is what? Oh, sex is also. No. Sex is not part of it. That is another thing we should have a huge, you must discuss these things. Because nobody is dead because there is no sex. Children don't have sex until they are 14, 15 years, until they are physically matured. Are they dead? So why do you think a 20-year-old will die because he doesn't have sex? Choice is yours. It is totally cerebral, totally mind, nothing to do with your physical. That is why your mind is switched off, your body does not respond. Think of that. So don't make it as a part of it. These 3 things only. Food, not even money. Money you need for food. So money you can chew. $500 euro bill, gourmet breakfast, $500 euro bill, right? No. Food will help you. Drinks and sleep. And these 3 essential things, when you want to have it, don't you think all of us look for hassle-free food easily so that the food is not a trouble? Appa. Anything available, make use of it, drink it. Drinks, whatever available, make it. Sleep, wherever I can catch some sleep, I say. So that food is not a problem. What is that? Drinks is not a problem, and the sleep also is not a problem. When you consider sex also is a part of that, do you know what happens? Can you manage it without creating a hassle for yourself? That is where it comes. Either individually by yourself you should handle it, and if you say another person, handle the personal relationship. It doesn't work. Hassle comes up. Why? Other person is another person. The other person's body and mind is not under your control. Your mind, your body is under control. That is why sex, physical relationship, sexual relationship based on this type of need becomes so cumbersome. People don't know how to handle it. But suppose there are people, those who know, okay, let's not make a problem out of it. You can have a wonderful time. A companionship. There is no problem, anything at all. But if you say, the moment along with the emotions comes, you are in trouble. You cannot. Just like the food you are eating, but emotions of the food. What is the emotion in the food? Only mushroom, you will have a trouble. Only cheese, you will have a trouble. Only mango juice, you will have a trouble. You can't just handle anything and everything. Are you getting that point, please? Why create problem out of the basic things of life? If you do not create a problem out of food, your drinks, your sleep, what type of life it will be? Hassle-free. And that is what ordinary man's life was so long. Any food is good. Go to a village, why people are so relaxed? Any food. Whatever food comes, nice. Because they don't know what is gourmet food. Any drink is fine. Water is the drink. What other drink? Whatever is there, fine. Sleep 24 hours. You think village people sleep only 10 hours? Only in a regulated life, only night 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Village people, when it is dark, I come from a village. I know how they are doing. During my lifetime, my childhood, there was no electricity in my village. Believe me, when it is 5 o'clock evening, winter time, 5 o'clock evening, 6:30 we are sleeping. Parents did not know the importance of studies, neither we were studying. Happy life. Best thing is game, play. I'm so happy, I was like wildly growing up. It's such a wonderful time. 5:36 is evening. Believe me, take your food evening, then go to sleep. 7 o'clock to 4 o'clock. 9 hours, snore. Then get up. What you should eat? Whatever available. Whatever is available. I want ice cream only. I want pizza only. Oh God. What is happening today? Do you understand the differences? Even ashrams, should it be run like that? This is the type of food? No, whatever comes, eat it. Whatever comes. Nobody gives us bad food. Rice, vegetable, rice is there. Oh, enjoy. Whatever comes in the way, in the plate. What do you drink? Either water or coconut water. Because a lot of coconuts are there. Drink water or coconut water, drink it, finish. Now other things, what is their problem? Just think. That was those life. When you are educated, you are more sophisticated. This is the food should be eaten, this food should not be eaten, this is the drink, this should not be drink, only these, whatever you like. Then you develop habits. Only ice cream, only pizza, only this, only that, only this. So if you cannot have ice cream, you are poor. If you can't have food, 5-star dinner, you are poor. So it comes, emotions comes with it. Individuality comes, all these headache comes. Should you create a problem for yourself in life? Think. And who creates the problem? Individuality creates the problem. Everything is fine. Now such a person who has developed this strong individuality and has started taking charge of his life will not like to hand over the charge to a God. Find it difficult, understand. Or to a God man, so-called God man. You cannot charge, you cannot give up your charge. That is an intelligent person, before he understands, he shall find out whether this teaching, whether the person really makes me independent or dependent on him. This is where comes your viveka, your discrimination. Before you give yourself up to a teacher, first find out, in the process of your learning, are you becoming independent or dependent? If you are becoming independent, you happily enjoy it. If in the process you are becoming dependent, run, because so far you have been dependent on so many things. Okay, the person who is not prepared for this knowledge, understand, fragile individuality, neither idhar ki na udhar ki, neither this side nor that side, cannot be self-reliant, cannot be self-reliant and cannot depend on God or something. Suppose such a person depends on you, and you comes to the learning and you tell him, be independent. The person doesn't like it. Why? Because he wants to depend. And please understand, the moment somebody wants to depend upon you, you know what is the trouble? Then the person who is dependent upon must live according to the expectation of the person who is depending. Devotees' expectations to be fulfilled. I shall worship you if only you starve every Saturday, Sunday. You understand how you get chained, imprisoned by the devotees' expectations. The devotee shall expect, worship you, but you should not be putting on fancy dress. You should be with one kopina. Because that person wants to worship renunciation. He wants to worship, if you should be very, very doing puja 10 hours a day. He should be worshipping if you are a person who is a vegetarian. He should be worshipping if you are a person who simply, very simple life. Because you must fulfill the other person's expectations of being religious. You know what a hassle it is? What a hassle it is. And some people, those who are professionally religious people, they either succumb to that or pretend to be that way. Why? They don't want to lose the donkeys. That is where devotees galore, sitting down around. Fulfill my expectations. Or suppose the person does some miracles, he will have another 100,000 people. Why? Because maybe one day he will give it to me. You have been waiting for a longest time. If you believe in God, why don't you say directly he shall fulfill it? Why should this man will fulfill your expectation? But where is that intelligence? The person doesn't have that strength in himself to depend directly on God, whatever it is. But he depends on a person. Understand the difficulties. This individuality is such a little mystery, I comes up. So ask yourself the question, what type of person you are? Are you really interested in absolutely independent, self-reliance, self-confident? And self-confident does not mean depending on a relative self. Understand? Depending on your money, job, relationship, things. If you want to depend on, listen carefully, if you are depending on those things, you better depend upon God, God of the highest type, that which is all-pervasive, listen carefully. Or else, if you depend on your education, your money, you shall be depending on a God which is lesser God. If you depend upon God, the truth, then what is the God I should depend upon? Listen carefully. What is the God I should depend upon? Who shall swallow my individuality? As in self-confidence means, listen carefully, self-confidence means ultimately being with yourself the absolute. Confidence in God means who should swallow my individuality? Who can take away everything with me? So, such a God who is all-inclusive, not one exclusive. An exclusive God cannot take you completely. Why? You cannot even believe that He can take you completely. Why? Because He is separate, you are separate. Are you getting that point, please? He is separate, I am separate. So how can He take me? I have been separate all the time. So separation is the name of the game. So He is to be worshipped and I have to be worshipping. Like somebody made a very beautiful joke. Another person went on praying God. And then, he was in danger. He went to, it's a Sufi story. The person goes to Kaaba, if you name that way, suddenly somebody says, as though we are critical of Christianity or critical of Islam or critical of this. I hate that language. That is why I don't want to take religion, name the religion, but forget that one. So the person goes to, he prays some God. And he goes to one place, and go to a holy place, and there is nobody except him. So he feels very comfortable. Appa, the crowd is not there, then whisper to God in that holy place, oh God, now I am alone, you are alone. Nobody else is there between the two of us. Please God, make me somebody so nice that I don't offend you anymore. That is the type of faith people have, as though they can offend God also, So he said, please see to it that I don't offend you anymore. Then again a voice boomed. Everybody asked the same type of thing. But son, if I go on granting everybody this one, whom shall I forgive? If I grant everybody this, who is that they should not be able to offend me, then whom am I going to forgive? My job is gone. You are getting that point, please? What type of God I should rely upon? If it will be a God, it will be an all-inclusive God who can take away my load. Understand? Saguna Brahma Upasana, Ishvara. If the worship, listen carefully, if your belief or worship of a God or belief of a God invokes in you a believer or a devotee for the rest of your life, it is confirming the duality and separation. Therefore, there shall be no release. Are you getting that point? It's like telling that person is very rich. I'm so poor. I'm humble follower of that man. Will you be one with the leader? Ajivin, to be self-reliant, you have to discover a self which is absolute. To believe in a God, you must find a God which is all-inclusive. Or else, individuality cannot be sacrificed. Cannot be. Please see that point. And such people with strong individuality, especially in our generation, listen carefully, romantics are there. Romantics means person who are depend on a relationship. Oh, money is not everything, God is not, God doesn't matter, money doesn't matter, self doesn't matter. Do you know why? Listen carefully. Because in your moment of your relationship, relating to a man or relating to a woman, listen carefully, relating to a man or relating to a woman, you lose yourself completely. You lose yourself completely. That is what known as falling in love. When you lose yourself completely. It is wonderful if the other person also loses himself completely. But suppose the other person has no interest. You have interest, the other person has no interest. Or the other person has interest, you have no interest. Then what happens? Now not falling in love. Because falling in love is very easy. Falling out of it is very difficult. Why? Whoever is out of it is free. But who is in it is a problem. Why? He doesn't know how to deal with it. Understand? That is why in this generation, there shall be many people who shall be victims of a relationship. Money doesn't matter, wealth doesn't matter, position doesn't matter, but this personal relationship will drive you crazy. What is the solution? Again, ask yourself, do I find a resolution in a person, in a job, in a thing, or in myself, or in a God? As I told you, self-reliant people, those who are clumsily self-reliant, in a sense, misplaced self-reliance. Misplaced self-reliance means you are relying on wealth, position, things like, and considering yourself, I'm independent. Like the modern man today says, I don't depend on anybody. I have my own bank balance, I own my job, I have my own car. Are you dependent on something or self-reliant? So as long as you are like that, a self-reliant person, so-called misplaced self-reliant person cannot depend on God. He has to go on to himself. But sometimes he can also, these things mean nothing. Human beings mean nothing, people mean nothing, things mean nothing. Oh God, you become a religious person. And when you go to a religious person, please understand, at that moment, because of your extreme frustration with yourself, your dependence on the small little things, you become religious. You go to any religion, you jump into some religious thing. Why? Some God is more important than all these things. Beautiful. For a few days, you shall be very comfortable. Then, this individuality who was frustrated, beaten, felt relieved by giving itself up into some faith. But after some time, when you are relaxed, few months, few years into that faith, it comes back. Is it really solving the problem? Or am I deluding myself? Individuality will come up. Why? Because that faith did not take your individuality away. And once that becomes your security, that faith becomes your security, because for some time you find it nice, so that experience becomes your security. Oh, this is the God, this is the faith. You become another fanatic. If anybody says, no, that is not the right thing, how can you depend upon that? You don't know anything. I have felt relieved. I am so free. If you are so free, why can't you dump it? You become a fanatic. Because it's an exclusive God or exclusive something you are dependent upon. Previously you depend on a riches, now you are depending on a God. That also slowly brings you back to the square one, your individuality. That is where similar people will have the congregation. Thousands of people with similar faith will find it very comfortable. It is just like a cult. In a cult, nobody questions nobody. Like a nudist camp. You are naked, I am naked. So person who is dressed is a misfit. Understand? Or everybody is dressed, person is nude, is a misfit. Thinking is also like that. I believe in that God, you believe in that God, all believe in that. Let's not question that God. Because if you question, you shall be a heretic. Why? You will be disturbing everybody. So don't question. So you live in your own little ivory tower. Your life can end. You can die like that. Understand? Lost in fear. You give up, you don't know what to do. But that is not again either reliance on God or reliance on self. It is reliance on another thought that this is how the God is. If you never understand, you are relying on another thought. And if your thought can be disturbed, you are finished. Therefore, you do not expose yourself to any other thought. But suppose such a person knows, hey, that's right, I'm now depending on something else. I can't depend to be independent. Who am I? Go back to yourself. Or that God is all-pervasive. Ishvara. What is that? All-pervasive. There is nothing other than it. That type of thinking will help you to lose yourself in anything and everything. And thereafter you are not afraid of this God or that God. Everything is only one God. God alone is existing. Whole universe, as Krishna says. Ahamatma gudakesa sarvabhutas astita. So, want to have Krishna, all-pervasive, Vishnu, all-pervasive, you are part of it. Or Brahman, the absolute. No Krishna, no Arjuna, no nothing. Absolute. Which one you like? What a choice. Be happy with yourself, hold on to any form you like. It is so much of freedom, you don't know what to do. It is so much of freedom. You're absolutely happy with yourself, comfortable with every name, every form. Fanaticism shall run. Fanaticism just cannot thrive, cannot exist. Why? Because everything is fine. Fanatics will run. But unfortunately, fanatics don't run. They stay back to fight. That is the trouble. So much of fight that fanatics can, even at the cost of their own life, they will destroy others. Why? Their faith is so important. Instead of faith serving them, they have to save the faith. That is the trouble with fanaticism. Instead of faith defending you, you defend the faith. If God defending you, you have to defend a God. If there is truth defending you, you have to defend a truth. What type of truth is that? Your life is finished. So please see this friend. This is amazing. Two types of people. Kleshodikatarastesham, abhyaktasaktacha. For both people there is difficulty. Listen carefully. Once you are individuality, you will have difficulty for both. To give yourself up to Ishvara, Saguna Brahma. Also give yourself up to yourself. Absolute. Both are difficult. But, Bhagavan says, perhaps what means, Bhagavan says now, both are difficult. But people who want to hold on to the formless absolute, they find it a little more difficult. Why is it so? Because average person is lost on the body. So from the body, it becomes easier to upasana on the universe, on totality. That is why, as a child, when you are growing up, can you begin with the formless worship or worship of a form? Worship of a form. Even if you worship a formless, you should have celebrations, festivities around that. Why? Because people will understand the language of festivity. Children will not understand God. They will understand the crackers, sweets. That yesterday, what is that? Diwali, and where Krishna supposed to have killed Narakasura. Ravana must have been killed Dasara. After Rama killed Ravana and returned to Ayodhya. So, firework celebration. This is the storyline. What is the symbol? What is the truth of it? The truth conquering over Dasashira, the 10-headed monster. Who is that hydra-headed, 10-headed monster? 5 sense organs, 5 organs of action. Individuality ruling so far. Now, Rama, finish. Know yourself. Krishna killing Narakasura. That is the darkness of ignorance killed by Krishna, the absolute. Celebrate. Who will understand this? If you tell this story, anybody will come? If you tell this story, who is going to come listen to the stupid story? Sweet? Cracker? Best lunch, best dinner? Wonderful. Why all these things? Oh, today is, Krishna killed the Krishna. Oh, really? Then you will show the interest. Krishna killed. Why did he kill? Oh, wonderful. Then as you grow up, Krishna, Akarshati Krishna, that everybody loves, that is yourself. Asura is the ignorance of yourself, individuality. Oh, nice. Then again your life is a celebration. Through all the 10 senses. You killed Ravana, but start enjoying through all the 10 senses. Rama kills the Ravana. Who is the Ravana? Individuality is the Ravana. When individuality is killed, through the 10 senses, firework. See, hear, taste, touch, smell, enjoy life. Why? The purpose of this knowledge is not to suffer life. Suppose after learning the driving, you have to sell your car. Would you like to learn? You, you learn driving, and after you learn driving, you have to sell your car. Anybody interested in learning driving? That is the part of the deal. The deal is, once you finish learning driving, your car must be sold. Anybody interested? So the part of this self-knowledge deal is, when you know yourself, your body and your mind is gone. Anybody interested? That is why you don't get into this nuts philosophy. When you are with yourself, world is gone, for whom is the world? Don't talk rubbish. The creation is existing. Everything is existing. Everything is beautiful, but nothing drowns you anymore. Understand? It's so beautiful. Can you have, the freedom is... I don't want to tell that word in English. Okay, it's just too much. So find out for yourself. So you find out for yourself which one you want. Saguna upasana, nirguna upasana. Are you getting that point? We'll see more of it. Amazing point. What can I do? Morning I sit down for 2 minutes, a blasting thought comes. Oh, Ishvara. Please, it's all for you, because by myself, what is the need? It is the thing, how best you can understand. Do you want to be self-reliant? To be with yourself? Another thing is confidence in God. Confidence in God must bring you to confidence in yourself. And confidence in yourself does not mean confidence in something you consider as self. Body, mind, thoughts, money, no. Self-reliance is being yourself. Our confidence in God, for whom it is possible. Ignorant, helpless people. If you are tested little self-reliance, difficult for you to do that. But sometimes tired of it, you can give up your thing and you enjoy that relationship. But it's just like you fell in love and again the individuality came back and you hated it. When you go to God, for some time you have a faith, you believe it very nicely. After some time, again the individuality returns. Tired. That time you have to have a God which is all-pervasive, not exclusive. That is why exclusive relationship also gives you a taste of freedom, but that's not the freedom. Understand? Even in a relationship, you love a child. It doesn't have to be loving a love with a boy or a girl or a man or woman. It can be loving a child, loving a friend, loving even you love your crystal. Anything you like, you give up yourself there. Let that be there. But again, you come back after some time because obsession is over. Then you go to God because lesser things will not do. So, not this creation, not these mundane things, but go to the divine. So you surrender. For some time, very relaxing. Why? Tired individuality finds little sleep in the lap of a faith. For some time. That is the time the faithful organize it so well, they don't want to take you out of that sleep of faith. Everybody organizes it. Like that's a cult. Thousands of people continue the deception so that you feel you are wonderful. But the moment you are out of it for a change, oh God, what am I doing? I'm lost in another cult. Then go back to yourself. Or into Ishvara, where everything should be comfortable. Believing in a God doesn't make you exclusive, where other things are all ungodly. When you see God, everything is godly. Everything is divine. Not only that form. Remember that happiness in and through everything, everywhere. If happiness is an object, you'll make it an exclusive thing. You'll suffer. You shall never find happiness in yourself. Why? That is the object. And that makes you fanatic. When you see God everywhere, in and through everything, then, Abba, happily now, happy to give up the individuality. Why? Because, oh, it's there. Is he alone is, or she alone is, or it alone is. Everything is fine. Then your little individuality, is it divine or stupid? That also is divine. What's wrong with individuality? That is where you give it up, assume it. Understand? A Zen Buddhist story goes very interesting. The man, that happy China man, carrying some nonsense on his head, he was going, some load, he was going down. Then another student asked him, what is this enlightenment? He drops it. Then what is living? He carries it. He drop it and carry it. So what is God? What is the truth? But then if you see that example, very beautiful, then same thing, why are you afraid of God? What is truth? Dump everything. Individuality, God, everything. Then what is life? Carry everything. All the gods, all the truth, all the everything. Why are you afraid of God? Why are you afraid of anything? So you are as comfortable with formless, that comfortable with all forms. But if you are comfortable with only one thing, the other things will be always make you uncomfortable. What is freedom? Are you kidding that? So, what choices you have? You choose. What to say? Close your eyes, please. Think over these things. Ask yourself, where is your freedom, your reliance? Thank you, brother.